Welcome to a different kind of video series. This one is called Theo'ssketchbook. This one is going to be pretty much replacing On the Road. On the Road used to be a video series I used to do where I would just talk to my phone as I drive around and just upload footage on top of that, whatever. And I watched a video a few weeks ago about it, one of my old videos, to see how it sounded, because I was curious about it, and the audio quality was pretty unfair, I feel like, for the viewer, because it was just being muffled. It sounded like I was muffled. You heard the blinker, you heard all kinds of dumb shit, and I was like, this isn't fair for the viewer, and it's kind of cheap, I guess. So I just didn't want to do that kind of video for you guys anymore. So I decided to kind of adapt it to a sketchbook type deal where it's a little more casual. I'm going to defeat the expectation and say that don't expect to see finished sketches in one video. So just because I draw something here does not mean that I intend to finish it in this video, so don't worry. If you don't see things that are complete here in this video, that's fine. I just want to say that right now so people are not surprised that you don't see a finished drawing. Oh my god. Someone's driving around like a madman. But anyways, since Sekiro came out, people have been bringing up my favorite discussion, difficulty in video games. And a lot of people always, I don't want to say defensive, but it comes off that way, I guess. But people have been very, nervous, scared, or whatever. Like, there's an article from Forbes that I've seen float around where people are saying, there's two articles, apparently. Well, not apparently, but there's two articles, oh my god. One saying that Sekiro needs to respect its players and add an easy mode. One saying you don't need an easy mode, you need to get good or whatever. But I don't remember the headline. I think it was like Sekiro does not need an easy mode. I'll just say that's the headline, just to be a little bit fair. I don't want to put that in a negative light, because I don't think it's an unfair statement either. But I think the Sekiro needs to add easy mode has gotten the most unfair amount of backlash I've seen, and I've seen this many times when a lot of people talk about challenging games and they say, well, this game, there should be an easy mode, and I keep seeing the same stuff. People say, well, you need to get good, and you need to get really good. Okay, it's a hard game. You have to deal with it, and I know where that's coming from. Like, it's just people say, like, look, oh my god, what am I drawing here? I understand the appeal of From Software games. I understand that people want games to be challenging, and they like a game that's gruelingly challenging, that's unapologetic about it, and that's fine. I think that's fair, but it should also be fair for people to say, I wish this game was easier, or have an easy mode for me to get into. And I've talked about this on Twitter yesterday, on Friday, because I'm recording this Saturday, and I said that it is completely fair to say that people want easy mode. I mean, I think that's a fair argument or a fair criticism that the game does not offer an easy mode. And I got a response on Twitter saying something to the oh my god, okay guys, scaling properly. Something like, well, you see, Theo, they need to oh no, it's not that. Oh my god, sorry, I'm like all over the place. And the guy told me, that From Software should not be forced to pander to people who want an easy game. I mean, the game is artistically done to be hard, and I agree that artists should not be forced to do things that is not part of their vision. However, with art, there's always a balance. I feel like a lot of people mention how art should not be censored and this and that, but at the same time, a lot of people have these ideas and visions that are innately not for everyone, but that will always cause the response of, they should do this in a way that I like, and that's fine and dandy. The thing I'm trying to get at, Jesus, I'm like struggling here. But what I'm saying is that From Software does not need to pander to everyone. They don't. They don't need to pander to everyone. But but I think the people who want easy mode, I think that's all they really want. And if they do an easy mode, then fine. I just don't see an issue with adding an easy mode to a game. I just don't see this as it breaking the game or ruining the experience because it doesn't hamper your experience. Easy modes are just a side mode for people to choose. It's an option. And that's why I always like games to have options. It should always let the player decide what they want to experience. It should, like, yeah, the game developer can decide that too. That's in an artistic way, but like, when you do that and you just don't give them the option, I think that opens to the criticism of wanting that option. Because you stick to this one mode, and it's like it's either gonna turn people off. And I've said this about movies and games and all this other stuff. I like divisive media. I love when media is divisive, when it gets people to either really love it or really hate it, etc. Like look at the latest film, Us, for example. That movie. I've seen like all kinds of reviews. I've seen reviews saying it's a terrible movie. It doesn't go deep enough with the themes, and the story is just too convoluted. But the other side of the spectrum, the story asks you to suspend a lot of stuff in disbelief, but it has an interesting message about society and the class system, etc. And that's interesting to me. I do think that the divisiveness of From Software titles is interesting, but I think that these people who want an easy mode understand that these games are meant to be hard, but I would like to experience the game and then decide to go on hard if I really like the game. Because, like movies, games, you don't want to spend time on a game that you're just not gonna like, So Sekiro, no one's at this point, like not a lot of people know if they like it, if they just bought it. Like I bought the game, I'm still like on like I didn't play enough to get a good idea of what the game is. I like the game so far, but I don't know much about it, and it's like if the game's gonna get harder, I don't know if I'm gonna spend the time to learn it. And I don't know if I want to learn a game that's getting me frustrated and just taking the fun out of what I like about the combat. I like the parry system and all that, but if I'm gonna be playing a boss that's like cryptic and challenging to the point where I just don't, it's not clicking with me, I don't know if I'll continue it. And that is the issue that I think people have with these kind of games. And the answer is not to make the whole game easy. I think the answer is just to make a mode for people to experience the base game, and then they could choose to experience the definitive way. I think it should be up to the gamer because everyone plays games differently. To me, like when I was a kid, like in the 90s, and maybe even when I was a teenager to a degree, I played a lot of games on easy because I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn what the game had to offer. I wanted to get into it. I wasn't sure if I had what it takes to be a deep gamer on some of the games I played. Because this character looks so weird. But I would play on easy so I could get the hang of it, and then it's like, I really like the game. I'm going to go back in on hard or on normal. I would go each difficulty up from easy, then normal, then hard, and go from there to see, where I am as a, skill-wise. And I think, we're at this turning point with games that, a lot of people who would not usually play games are kind of getting into it more. They're getting more into games, they're getting more interested in it, but they still need something to kind of learn from. And I think From Software, you really have to put a lot of time to learn the ins and outs. But if you have an easy mode, you can learn some of the basics that can prepare you for the definitive experience. And I think that's why I don't really find an issue with people wanting an easy mode. I think the other thing is that the discussion of a difficulty is a fascinating discussion. I think a lot of people kind of jump over the discussion of challenge in video games. Like it is to me, I think, one of the hardest things to pace in a video game, because you don't know who's gonna play your game, what level are they gonna get, what level is gonna be fair for everyone. And I think the pacing is something that developers are learning over the course, they're getting better and better at. Like, to me, Devil May Cry 5, I think, when I'm looking at it, because last night I played Dante Must Die. I started my Dante Must Die run, and that is kind of where it hit me. I think Dante Must Die, not Dante Must Die, Jesus. Devil May Cry 5 has one of the best pacing and difficulties. I think it kind of trains you to get ready for the next difficulty setting. Like, for example, Devil Hunter. It's like, okay, whatever, basic mode, anyone can get through it. You get through it. Then you start Sons of Sparta, and at first you're like thinking to yourself, "Oh, this is easy. This is not much different from the other mode." But then you realize, oh, they changed the enemy placement. Things are going out of order now. I'm seeing enemies that I saw in the end game in the beginning. Okay, whatever, and maybe some of the enemies take slightly less damage from you, whatever. Like you need to inflict more damage than on Devil Hunter, but it's still like, okay, whatever. And then you play on Dante Must Die, and it's like, oh shit! Not only is the enemy placement different, they take more damage now, and they're much more brutal and they're much more offensive. Like, the enemies, like the bug enemies, are much more offensive than they were on normal and Sons of Sparta. They were just kind of hanging out. Now it's like, oh shit, they're coming up to me and they're starting to attack me. And I think, a lot of stuff in Devil May Cry 5 kind of teaches a lot of people, how to handle harder difficulties, and that's why I think it can be done. You can have a game that is gruelingly difficult, but you can have it so that it teaches people the fundamentals of the game, and I think that's kind of what people wanted from Sekiro and from Software. They want games to be more, oh my god, accessible to them, I guess. And the other thing is that a lot of people kind of shit on accessibility to people, like, oh, the game should not have to be accessible. They should make it so that, people who want to play the game and learn can learn. But I don't think there's anything innately wrong with making games accessible, as long as it doesn't affect the base game or the basic experience. And I don't think, like, an easy mode in Sekiro would ruin that. I think what would ruin Sekiro is that if the there's no difficulty setting and the base gameplay that you were stuck with is like super easy, that would ruin it. And I don't think that's what people want either. I think they just want a difficulty setting that is easy and encouraging to play the harder mode. Because a lot of times when I play Devil May Cry 5, I get kind of encouraged to play easy on hard, because I play on normal. It's like, I beat the game. Okay, well, you know what? I want to experience the game on a harder difficulty. See the difference. And that's kind of what I love about games that have difficulty settings that allow you to change it on a New Game Plus run, like Persona 5. I played it on normal because I never played a JRPG before. I wanted challenge, but not super challenge. And I think I got what I wanted from normal. I beat the game, and it's like, you know what? I want to play this on hard. I want to see the difference. And of course, I did a New Game Plus run, so I got to keep my personas. And now I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I should play this without New Game Plus. Just do a base file and just do it on the next difficulty setting after hard, just to see if I had learned the game or if I didn't. And that's kind of what I want to see, and that's what I might be doing once I beat it on hard, because the only reason I'm doing it on hard on my New Game Plus is I want to see the social links. I want to go through all the social links as I can, and I don't have to worry about grinding or getting better personas or whatever. I just want to get through the S links to get as much as I can, and then on the very hard run, I'm just gonna just play it whatever and not worry about the S links as much, or the confidant links, only the ones I want to do. It's gonna be whatever. I don't know. Let's see what happens. It's more of my choice, and that's kind of the fun of 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 it, you know. So that's my take on it. I know a lot of people would love to see people struggle and learn, and that's the thing. Like I got Sekiro, and I'm curious to see how far I can get in that game. I want I want to take the time to learn that game as much as I can and see what I can do. See if I can push myself hard enough to play it. I do see the fun and the challenge of these kind of games, but I do think that it's more reasonable to want a game to have an easy mode as well. Uh, but to me, I'm not asking for to force From Software to do it. They should to me game developers should want to do it. If they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. Like I could say I would want an easy mode in Sekiro, but if or in the next From Software game, and I would put that in their ball court. It should be um their decision ultimately. Like I would love an easy mode to get into their games and kind of get my feet wet and learn and experience all I need to experience, and then go back in on the definitive difficulty. But if From Software is like, we're not going to do that. We don't want to do that. We understand that people want a easy mode, but we're just not going to do that because that's not our um, style. We're not doing that, and we're not going to compromise that for that. And I would say, okay, that's fine. I mean, you have a specific audience that is successful. I mean, I'm not saying that, and it's not that From Software is a failure because they dare to not make an easy mode. They have proven themselves to be successful with doing the games that they're doing. I just think that it should be their decision, ultimately. Like, if they decide to do an easy mode, that's their decision. And I feel like if they did, at this point, people would just accuse From Software of, they're being forced to add easy mode. Oh, the casuals won, but I don't I don't like that kind of viewpoint either. If they added the easy mode, and it doesn't affect the definitive mode of that game that is meant to be experienced, then there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of games that tell you straight up, this difficulty is the definitive way to experience the game, but they still offer other difficulties. So if they could get away with it, I feel like From Software can as well. I think all of it is uh, a matter of uh, a view, a perspective, and kind of what you're willing to put in. And I think that's fine. I think From Software should be allowed to do what they want to do. I wouldn't pressure them to make a game that I want, because ultimately, like, there is a saying, like, if you're gonna do something that you want to do, that you would want to play, and everyone, and oh my god, make something you would want to make something that you would want to play or experience. And that there is truth to that, but I do think that there is a fundamental balance that you kind of have to keep in mind, because yeah, you should not pander to everyone, because when you pander, you start to dilute the experience, and that's like, look at MGS4. I think MGS4 is to me an example of what happens when you try to pander to everyone. It tried to answer all of the questions from MGS2, every single question. I mean, out of its way to address everything, and I think that led to a more diluted experience, because it's like, oh, really, nanomachines? Oh, really, this? And it's like, well, what do you expect? If you wanted MGS4 to answer everything, what answer would you expect for half the stuff that MGS2 introduced? Like, of course they were going to have to go with nanomachines, because it makes the most sense out of what? Excuse me. And I think that's, that's the issue of pandering. But at the same time, if you make a game, or anything for that matter, that is so out of touch, I guess, and not conscious of who you're selling to, I think that's not going to fail. That's not going to be successful either, because you get games that, like, that are just inept, and I think that's not an answer either. But a lot of it is trial and error. Like, you need to find that balance, and I think that's the point. Like, From Software is making great games, and they're succeeding with what they're doing, but there's nothing wrong with them pushing themselves to try other things to add to their experiences. And a lot of the times it is, as I said, a balance. Like they have to balance. Like if they're gonna approach the idea of let's make a game that's really accessible, they have to balance that with, well, how can we mix it with the veterans of Dark Souls and Bloodborne? And I think that's kind of what makes Sekiro so divisive, because when I was like looking up reviews and opinions of Sekiro, I heard so many things. It was either too easy, forgiving, this is the most accessible From Software game, to this is super hard, and it's so divisive and polarizing that I don't know what the perspective is on the actual difficulty, and I think that's fascinating. I think the discussion of the difficulty of Sekiro in and of itself is a fascinating discussion, because you get to see how other people handle some games. Like some people who love Dark Souls don't really like Sekiro for the most part. I've seen people who are like into Bloodborne, into Nioh, that were just like, yeah, Sekiro is not really doing it for me. Then I've seen the other side of it, where it's like, oh, I love Sekiro, don't like Dark Souls. So it's a very odd balance with it. And I think that's fascinating. And I think seeing people wanting an easy mode, people saying that they don't need an easy mode, is an interesting discussion. And I think that just slamming it, saying, "Oh, these casuals," and "Oh, this is why we can't get nice things," and this that is just a cheat. It's not a cheat. It's, what's the word? It's ignoring the discussion. It's ignoring the rich discussion that is there. I think there is something to talk about Sekiro's difficulty that is fascinating. And I think that to a degree is what makes From Software a successful company. I think them making hard games is so fascinating to see how people react to it. And I think just shaming people or just talking down to people who would like a game to be easy is just ignoring or not appreciating how diverse this game is to people. You see people that want to play it, but they just can't get into it. And it happens all the time, and it's something that I have not seen in a long fucking time. Like, I've not seen someone go out and say, I want to get into this game, but I just can't. I've not seen that in years. I've seen that done in a meme way, like, oh, well, I'd love to get into this game, but I just can't because the main character looks like an asshole or whatever. And I don't see like such weird jokes like that, but this is like the one time I've seen in years that people genuinely mean, I would love to get into a game, I just can't. And that is fascinating to me. I think that's the one thing that I really appreciate about From Software, that I just love, even as an outsider. Like, I don't really like Dark Souls or care about the setting. Bloodborne, I wanted to get into it, but it was too hard for me. But I love witnessing the discussion of like, man, I just want to get into it, but it's so hard, and that is fun. That is fun to see how they experience that, and it's fun to empathize with that. I think it's something that to a gamer's core, like their core like experience with games when they grow up, you feel that way. Like, there's no way that you haven't, when you're growing up as a kid, you've never seen a game and say to yourself, oh yeah, I got into that one, and you got into every single game. Like, there's bound to be a game in your childhood that you said to yourself, I would love to get into this game, I just can't because I don't like the gameplay, or I don't like what it does, whatever. Like, that's how it was with JRPGs. I never liked JRPGs. It wasn't for me. I was like, I don't like the turn-based perspective of it. And then, Persona 5, I started to kind of bunker down and really get into it. And now I'm all about it. And I think a lot of people have this viewpoint of, I want to get into a game, I just can't. And, there is going to be that one game that they're gonna stumble into at one point in their life. And they're going to it's going to be magic to them. And that's kind of what lured me to Sekiro, because, with Persona 5, it was honestly pure chance. Like, I was at Best Buy one day, and I was like going through the game section, just looking around, and they had the steel case of Persona 5 that was standard price, was $60. It was a red steel case, and I was like, I've never seen a red steel case as much as I have. I mean, this is like the only one I could see in recent memory. I love the style of it. I was like, oh, I know it's turn-based. I don't know if I'm gonna love it, but I need to try it. It's been years. I'm like 27 right now, and I just want to try it. I bought it, took it home that day, and I started playing it, and it started clicking with me. It it was magic. It was the only boss fight in that game that was a wall to me was the Madarame boss fight. That was the only boss fight in the fucking game that I could not beat. Every other boss fight after that boss fight was so easy compared to him. My friend had to come over and help me beat him. That was the only boss that I had to pass the controller on. I said, nope, I can't do it. And then every other boss fight I did by myself, and it was just a cakewalk for me. I don't know why. I don't know why. I was expecting the side boss fight in the casino to be hard. I was expecting the final boss to be hard, and it was like, no, the fucking Madarame boss fight. Fuck. So, you know, and it was music to me, and I bought Sekiro thinking, you know, there has to be at some point one From Software game that they're gonna release, and I'm gonna buy it, and it's gonna connect with me, and it's gonna be magic. And I really, really wonder if Sekiro is gonna be that game that's gonna like, you know, click with me. And I think that's the fun part of games. Like you get this frustration of wanting it to be easy, or we want it to be done in a certain way, and then years down the line, you're like, you know what? I haven't touched this franchise in a long time, or this genre. You know, I know I'm not gonna like it, but maybe I should take a chance on it again. I like how this looks. You find something you like, you buy it on a chance, as a gamble. You pop it in, and before you know, you're just like, whoa. And that feeling is rewarding. I think a lot of this is this kind of growing pain that these people are going through. And I think shitting on them and shaming them is not making them want to learn or to stick with it. Because imagine if you're learning a game and you're having trouble with it, and you're like, man, I wish this was easy. And then someone comes down and says, you just need to get good. You need to do this. And you're just like, oh my god, this is what it's going to be like. Okay, fuck this. And it's just going to demotivate you to play it because it's like, I just want to have fun and I want to learn. Now, I think helping people would be different, and I think just understanding that people might have a harder time than others. Like, it's kind of like when people show people using guides. Like, I don't find an issue if people need to use a guide. If they need to use a guide, they need to use a guide. But it's something that is different for everyone, and I think that's what makes it so interesting when I play games, is to see how far I can take myself, how far can I go with it. And that to me is kind of the fun I have with video games. And I think that's kind of the fun of the discussion that people have about uh, difficulty in fighting games and why people like From Software games. They like that challenge. They like the feel of it. It's something. I think just kind of shitting on people who are having issues are, I don't know. It's just not fair to me. I don't know. But that's my thoughts on that. But my opinion on Sekiro so far, I didn't make it that far. You know, the stream I did that I posted on this channel, you can watch it. You can watch it on this channel as well. I made it that as far as near the end. I didn't make it that far past where that video ended. So don't worry, you didn't miss a lot. But so far from what I like the challenge of it. I am enjoying myself with it, but again, I just didn't make it that far to see where the challenge starts to show up. I didn't fight a boss yet. Once I fight a boss, I'll probably know more about what it is. I think I fought a mini boss, and the mini boss was a lot of fun. I like dying. Now, of course, some might say, well, Theo, you're dying a lot, and it's going to cause dragon rot, and this and that. To me, I don't give a fuck. On the first run, you're going to naturally die a lot, so you're not intended to do everything just yet. I think it encourages replayability, where it's like, okay, well, I died this many times. I'm going to get better next time. When I play it again, the second run, I'm not going to die as much. I'm going to try harder and not cause as much dragon rot. And I think a lot of that is just this whole balance of it. And that's kind of what I like about Sekiro, is that I can already tell that there's a lot of stuff in it that is gonna entice people to replay it a few times to experience everything. And I do like that. I do like that about Sekiro, that allows you. It gives you that bug. You know, a lot of ways, like even Persona 5 does that too with their confidants, and I think that's what I like about these kind of games. So, it's interesting. I mean, so far, like I played a little bit of Bloodborne, and I like Sekiro way more than Bloodborne. The beginning of Bloodborne, this wasn't for me, but the beginning of Sekiro was like, oh, I like that. I like the deflect gameplay and this and that. So, it's fascinating. I'm interested in playing more of it. So I'll let you guys know how that goes. I might do another stream of Sekiro this coming week. We will see. But I think that's it for this video of Theo's sketchbook. Sadly I did not get to finish a sketch today. That's again, as I said, the point of this video is not to finish a sketch. It's just to sketch and talk, and just go until I'm done talking, I guess, so I don't have dead air. But I think that's it. That's gonna wrap it for this video. I'd like to thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any feedback about this, what you would like to see change. What would you like to see happen in these video series? Let me know. And I'll see what works. Do you want me to do some manual art with paper and pencils, or is this good too? What do you want to see? What feedback do you want to see happen in this video series? And I'll see what I can do. I mean, I'll go through the feedback, see what people like and what they don't like. But thank you guys for watching this video as well. If you have any questions, feel free to also post them up in the comment section below. I'll address the comment section in the next sketchbook episode. I want to say again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for watching all my videos as well. I mean, I appreciate all of your guys' support, be it however you do it. I'm looking at my videos, and it's like I'm so appreciative and happy that people are actually like enjoying the videos that I put up, because like the gameplay videos, I'm like thinking to myself, I don't know if these are good videos. I mean, I'm not talking a lot. I don't know, and I get self-conscious, and it's nice to see that people enjoy the stuff I put out. So I really thank all you guys for sticking through that. I know there's not been a legit art cast for this month. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it by this month as well. I'll see what I can do, but I'm gonna start recording for April's art cast at this point. So I guess we lost an episode. I'm sorry if you guys are upset about that, but I'll try to make it up in some way. We'll see what happens. But thank you guys for watching, supporting me. If you guys want to go far and beyond, you guys know how to do it. You guys are smart. I don't need to tell you. You guys know everything. But anyways, thank you guys for everything, watching the show. I will see you guys next time, be it in a video or a stream. Whichever way you decide to watch me, you can do it. So thank you for watching, and as I go, I want you guys to remember, the bun is watching, in a good way, not a creepy way, a good way. She's watching over us to protect us. The bun protects us all. Oh, praise be the bun. All right, see you guys next.